Good afternoon. So as we know, good afternoon, ladies.
Good
Good
afternoon, sir.
afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
All right, good afternoon. As we know that Caribbean people, very creative, we sing about our experiences, all the different issues that we go through, we make fun out of it, just like Loving There. Sang about the Jamaican experience during Hurricane Gilbert. And I think the song covers everything from the beginning of the hurricane, the issues that people would have gone through during the hurricane, after the hurricane, even the new fridge and door and all of these, the different aids that they would have received. Hurricane Gilbert was a disaster on this island. Before we go to Hurricane Gilbert, I just want us to look at, where am I? Okay. I want us to look at some of the past paper questions on geographical phenomena. So I want us to look at some past paper questions on geographical phenomena, and I want us to look at trends that we have seen. This is paper 2. No, I can't show this. If I show this, I might show the exam paper. Let us stop share screen and find this stuff. I want me to see that open up right now is the exam paper 2's. The exam paper come up. Lord Jesus. A simple mistake like that, people could use that as a justification to get rid of me. Where am I? All right, good. So I want us to look at some of the past paper questions over the years. In 2004, we had a question. I gave you this sheet already. In 2004, a topic came from geographical phenomena, which is assess the measures Caribbean countries can realistically undertake to minimize the danger posed by earthquake, 30 March 2004. Then again in 2005, describe the value of coral reefs to Caribbean society and culture, 20 March. Then none for 2006, for 2007, none again, but 2008, discuss the social and economic impact of natural disasters on the Caribbean. Then, 2009, examine 3 measures that Caribbean countries can implement to minimize the danger posed to coral reefs in the region. Then again, in 2010, flooding is caused by a combination of natural and man-made factors. Discuss the extent to which flooding is a major environmental hazard in the Caribbean, 30 marks. And as I told the previous group, that there are some floodings that we are natural, yes, as in it rainfall, it just rain continuously and there's nothing we can do. For example, if we're in maybe a hurricane and it floods, but there are some flooding that if the that is man-made factors that would have caused the place to flood. For example, the rainfall for a few little seconds, and you realize that the entire halfway tree is underwater, crossroad is underwater, downtown or Spanish Town is underwater. The entire place just flowed by 5 minutes of rainfall. And that is a serious problem because that flooding is man-made. One, our drains are filled with garbage. Two, they, especially, I'm going to use the example by Marcus Garvey Drive. Uh, they would have rebuilt a road there. But the issue is that every single water that leaves the capital city leaves to go, well, going to the we call it, going to the Kingston Harbor via the Marcus Garvey. And that's the truth. It's a natural waterway for all the water to just come down from off the hills and just come straight down and go into the sea. I don't know if a river was there before or if it was a wetland before, but that is a natural waterway. Before they built the road or rebuilt the road, because the road was always there, they had drains there, and we never used to have problems when it comes to flooding along that area. But as soon as they built the road, the government would have said that, listen, we didn't build any drain. No drain was built. And so as a result of that, a government would have spent billions of dollars building new highway, going around the country saying that they are builders and foundation and all different type of stuff. And you spend all of these money on building roads and you haven't built a drain. And all the water leave the city, a very big city, one of the largest cities in the Caribbean, leave all the water when it rains, leave the city from that area, and there's no drain, so the road block it. People's houses are flooded, especially I think an area by the name of Seaview Garden. People, before they built the road, people in Seaview never used to have problems with flooding. They never used to have a problem with flooding. But as soon as the roads in that area, 3 Mile, was redeveloped, the entire community flooded. And when all the water coming from up top in Kingston, from halfway tree, the Kingston 6, the 8, the 5, the 19, and the 18, all of those different Kingston, all the garbage coming down. And I've heard people on the news blaming the people that live within that area to say within that belt in the 3 miles here to say they are the ones who cause the flooding because they are throwing things in the river and all of these different stuff. And that's not, well, that is not entirely true. Because if you should watch the progression of the water, you'll see beds, stove, fridge, everything coming from the apple tree end or the other parts of Kingston, exiting the into the, we call it, exiting into the Kingston Harbor. It is not a pretty look. So we have man-made issues. We are littering, and at the same time, the governments are not building the. 1 second, please. The governments are not building the proper drainage systems. And some of the flooding problems that we have is man-made problems. And so this is one question that is a pretty good question from 2010. Another question is from 2011. Explain 3 ways in which the physical landscape has influenced settlement patterns in the Caribbean. How our physical landscape, those of us who live on very flat lands, those of us who live on very mountainous islands, how that influence how we settle. Another question, the impact of geographical phenomena, 2012. Examine 3 strategies that Caribbean countries can use to minimize the impact of earthquake. And we would have looked at earthquake last class. So I'm going to ask you the question. What are 3 ways in which, and I need one from each, well, student, 3 strategies that we as Caribbean countries can implement to minimize, notice the word minimize, the impact. Because the truth and in fact is that earthquakes will have an impact. But how can we minimize it? First point. Go ahead for me, please. Impact, ladies.
Sir,
Go ahead for me.
we can educate persons about the effects of earthquakes and what to do when an earthquake is happening. So like
Very good.
at school they say go in the door frame or hold your hand up or those stand near a building. So that will prevent people from dying and stuff like that.
Excellent. And so you develop that point. Increase education about earthquake, different ways you can increase it. Next, very good. Go ahead for me, Fletcher.
So I'm just adding to what Melissa said.
Okay.
They can also do drills, frequent drills in
Mm-hmm.
like workplaces and schools and even at home, so that in the event of an earthquake, people are not absolutely clueless.
All right, very good, very good. We could even have a national drill because remember, if you're developing it's an essay you're writing here, and you need, they would have limited you because they asked you for 3 examples. So this would be, you have your introduction, you have your 3 points, and then you give you a little short conclusion. So one of them for sure is education, and you explain how the different educational programs that you would implement to minimize the effects. Next, let us see who is up. O'Connor.
Sir, they could have like proper
development of building structures. So like building proper structures with like shocks and stuff like that, where like when the earthquakes come, the building won't just come tumbling down because the structure is sound.
Very good, excellent point. And also enforcing that the building code. Have a building code and enforce it. Go ahead for me, Jackson.
Sir, the government can encourage families to develop earthquake drills within the home, because a lot of the times we only practice drills in like school. So when we're
True.
at home, we don't really know what to do when we're at home. So if the government could encourage families to have like meeting places in case like an earthquake happens at home, what to do while you're at home and things like that.
Very good point. And also in not, you move it from the home to communities. So as a community, all of if you have a community association, your community association can put on a drill, have a meeting place to say, one, if a hurricane, well, an earthquake should happen, where all of us should go. You have a field which is close by. This is the meeting spot where we should meet. So once we know a earthquake happen, everybody should meet at this spot. And you say, who live lot number one? Everybody covered, good. Lot number two, lot number three, four, five, six. Oh, lot eight. Let us check on the old lady in lot eight. She live by herself. You go and see if everything is all right. Another one. Thank you very much, ladies. Next
Sir,
strategy. Go ahead for me.
sir, they could also do drills and enforce, like talk about, like have people come in and talk about like earthquake preparedness in the workplaces as well.
Yes, that's another point that we could. Another point when it comes to education. Anyone else? Hunter?
Sir, to add on to Tori's point, sir, they can also encourage them when they're building their houses, they should build certain places because different places have different effects. If that
Yes.
makes
Very good point. Very good. And so these are some of the different ways. Very good point. Very good point. And I'm just reinforcing the last point by Hunter is that where it is. Am I on? Yes. Which is government should encourage building companies and citizens to adhere to the building code. And also the point that you just made is to avoid construction in earthquake prone zones because there are some areas that are more likely to be destroyed as a result of having a earthquake. Another thing is that we need to set up and continue to fund organizations in the Caribbean that tend to monitor earthquakes and volcanoes. For example, UWI has the Systemic Research Center that monitor volcanoes and monitor, we call it now, they monitor earthquakes. Also, we have CDEMA, which is the Caribbean Development Emergency and Management Agency, which if there's a natural disaster, this agency, which is located in Barbados, funded by Caribbean governments, go around to assist. And then you have ODPM, which is in Jamaica, that helps in natural disaster. And so what the government can do is maybe increase funding for these institutions, increase the fundings, or not only increase the funding, but continue to fund them, because some of these institutions are underfunded. Some of them can't even pay a secretary to do some of the work that they can, because they are not getting the enough money. And they are very, very important. Right now in St. Vincent, there's a volcano in St. Vincent, and the government there basically strapped for cash. Who you think comes to the assistance of the government to monitor the volcano?
So it was the British people. I think I heard
Not the
something.
British. They're asking the British people now for some help. But who is on spot now monitoring the earth, the volcano? Scientists from UWI. So the government had to send for scientists from the Systemic Research Center, which is in Trinidad, send for them. The St. Vincent government house them in St. Vincent, and they are the ones who are monitoring the volcano. If we should have one of our dormant volcanoes should say that it's erupt, it's going to erupt. It is the same center going to come and help to monitor and give us information. Right now in COVID, all the rich countries say vaccine is for us, no vaccine for you poor people. Poor countries, no. And so as Caribbean countries, we have to stick together. You hear people come down on UWI? UE is helping us in quite a lot of ways in the Caribbean when we need expertise help, because they are the ones who are training local scientists or regional scientists. And so one of the area is to continue to fund these institutions. Next, have a fund, set up a fund, an earthquake fund. Find somewhere you can set up the money, because at the end of the when an earthquake happens, you need to rebuild immediately. You don't wait until 10 years after to fix a road. Look what is going on in Gordon Town. That road that they had some landslide. Up to now, nothing major can happen with it. They're saying that they are doing something to fix it. That should have fixed 3-4 days after.
So
Because a lot of, go ahead for me.
so they haven't done anything at all to fix it.
Not a thing they have done, which is very bad, because a lot of people live within that area, and that is a major road. And you need to say, for instance, if you have a fund, you said, all right, this is a disaster fund. If I was the prime minister, this is what I would do. I would say disaster fund, everybody buy bread. Yes? So every time you buy bread, a bread costs $100. I put a tax on the bread. I said 2% tax. So the 2% tax on the bread go directly into a fund. And so every time we have maybe an earthquake or a natural disaster, that money will help us to recover immediately, instead of waiting and begging America and Britain and Canada to get some form of money to assist. We have set up funds like these already, not disaster funds, but we have set up tourism enhancement fund, that every tourist that comes into Jamaica, they pay a portion of a fee, right? And the fee that they pay to come into Jamaica, that fee goes towards developing somewhere. And so we know for sure that we can do things to minimize the dangers posed by earthquakes. Next, so that question came from 2000 and which year we looked at. All right.
Sir,
Go ahead for me.
sir, could you also say that the government can subsidize the cost of blocks and cement to reduce the amount of people using zincs and those stuff to build?
That is true. They can subsidize, but it's not the blocks and the cement is the issue. Cement cheap and block cheap. I think it's about $2 for block. One block is for about $2 or $10.
So why, sir? So why people using zinc then, sir?
The problem is that is the steel that is the problem. Steel is very
Oh,
expensive. And you can't build without steel. So that's one of the reasons why people use the zinc, because you need, while you can buy a lot of blocks, you can buy cement, but you really can't, we call it now, buy the steel. The steel is very, and you have to use the steel in the building. If you don't use the steel in the building, you're going to have that building that you will put up with just the cement and the block is very dangerous, especially in an earthquake. That's what happened in Haiti. They build the homes without steel. In 2012, and then again in 2013, examined 4 factors which have caused coral reefs in the Caribbean to be threatened with extinction. Include examples in your response. 20 March 2014. Using example, describe 4 measures that can be taken to minimize the impact of soil erosion in the Caribbean. 2015, which is a repeat question, examine 4 ways in which settlement patterns in the Caribbean have been influenced by physical landscape. And then again in 2017 at 30 March, which is individuals more than governments have a role to play in mitigating the effects of natural disasters. Discuss the extent to which it is the responsibility of individuals rather than governments to curtail the effects of natural disaster. Now, if we look on all these questions from 2004 to 2017, you will see that a very popular question on the paper is geographical phenomena. And because it is a serious problem that we go through every single year as Caribbean people. So right now we have 2 countries in the Caribbean going through volcano. The threat of volcanic eruption. 2 countries, remind me of them, please. Remind me of the countries, please.
I know St. Vincent is one.
St. Vincent is one. What is the name of the volcano in St. Vincent?
Is it Soufriere?
La Soufriere, very good. The next country? What is the name of the next country? Come on, ladies, the other class could tell me that in quick time. Does that mean you're not listening? Are you not reading? What is the name of the next country experiencing a threat of eruption? Hello?
Sir, is it Martinique?
Martinique, very good. So Martinique is one such place. And the name of the volcano in Martinique is?
Mount Pelée.
Very good, Mount Pelée. Thank you very much. You have saved the day. I was just going to tell the class to go and read and end. So we know for sure that volcano is a serious problem. Earthquake is a serious problem in the region. And the country two countries we would have looked at when it comes to earthquake is one,
Haiti.
which two countries we looked at?
Haiti, sir.
Well, the Haiti and Jamaica.
Haiti and Jamaica. The earthquake in Jamaica happened in which year?
Sir, there were two. So one happened in 1907 and one happened in 1993.
93, very good. Jamaica has several earthquakes, but the more significant ones would have been those ones. Very good. Haiti,
2010.
2010, and yesterday would have marked the 11th or 12 years since the earthquake in Haiti. How many persons died in Haiti?
Over 230,000.
Over 230,000. Very good. And so when you're looking at the impact of natural disasters, always remember, look at the economic impact, social impact, economic, job loss, how jobs were basically gone as a result of these industries. Next, social, death rate, lack of water, the social housing. Many persons would have lost their houses. For example, in Haiti, about 1.5 million people would have lost their homes. People would have been displaced. And another phenomenon that is very prevalent in the Caribbean is hurricanes. Hurricanes is very, very popular. And Jamaica's had their Hurricane Gilbert, as you have seen in the song, Ivan, Dean, Sandy. These are some hurricanes that would have happened here. Grenada would have had their Hurricane Gilbert, no, Hurricane Ivan, which basically destroyed Grenada. Bahamas recently, I believe last year, had a hurricane that destroyed one of their islands completely. The Cayman Islands, oh my goodness, very flat territory. The entire island was underwater when they had Hurricane Ivan. It was painful to hear the stories coming out of Cayman. And so we know for sure that hurricanes have serious impact on our society. Destruction of our infrastructure, that is social, homes are destroyed, schools are destroyed, hospitals are destroyed, churches destroyed, roads destroyed, everything. Communication, you have no phone, no internet, because all the lines are down. Water is off because of pollution, landslide, flooding, erosion, soil erosion, homes are in danger, our economy is in serious problem because buildings, a lot of companies would have lost their roofs, farms, livestock, destroyed. Communities have been displaced in Jamaica up to today. There are two communities, one close to the airport, which is Caribbean Terrace, and another one which is called Portland Cottage in Clarendon. Those two communities have been displaced as a result of hurricanes. The sea came in and took over the entire houses, all the houses there. All the houses were underwater in Caribbean Terrace. It was painful to see it on the news. And this was a middle class community that very wealthy middle class Jamaicans lived in. I believe Caribbean Terrace is close by Harbor View. And so we know for sure that hurricanes have serious, serious impacts on our society. And so every time it comes to the hurricane season, which is between June and December 1st, people start to fret, especially me. I don't like it. I love summer. Summer is my favorite time of the year. People say Christmas, but summer is my favorite time. The break is long. Last year, they disrupt my break with COVID, but my summer break is the best time. Travel, go here, five different, four places, go to the beach. Summer is just nice. Christmas is short and you have to be marking papers during that time. Don't like it. Yes. Don't like the Christmas just like that. But when you have your summer, oh yes, you get long, long summer break. You stay up and you're watching show for the entire night. Very good. But one thing when it comes to that time, we have to always look out for, we have to look out for hurricanes during that time. And that is one of the con about that period. But other than that, we're good. So look at this. And then the next thing with summer is that summer you don't have to do any form of cleaning. You don't have no big cleaning to do, but Christmas you have to do all of this cleaning, you clean up all of the place and no, sir. We can't manage that. But at the end of the day, we know hurricane is a serious issue that we face in the Caribbean. When we return tomorrow, I'm going to show you two videos on, we call it now, hurricanes, and I'm going to look at flooding and drought next class. And then we return next week, we do coral reef. So this week and next week, I'm just going to do geographical phenomena. I usually use two double sessions to do geographical phenomena, but I'm just going to stretch it out because I know some people going to school and you are preparing for exams. I'm just going to stretch it out just like that until the exam period. So I don't want to touch anything new. And it is a topic that is fresh, a topic that you live and you experience, you hear on the news. So I will do it that way. All right, ladies, see you tomorrow morning, bright and early.
Sir, I have a
Okay, sir.
question.
1 minute. Yes, who
Sir,
has a question?
when is your birthday?
My birthday, March the 7th.
Thank you.
You're born in March?
No, sir.
Okay, it's a very good month. Very, very good month. You should consider when you get old and you get married to plan that you have your child in March.
No, sir. Sir, but I like Pisces though. So that's a
All
good.
right, no problem. All right, blessing ladies. See you tomorrow morning.
Take care, sir.
Same to
Okay, so
you.
tomorrow.